Ay, I feel so futuristic. I think I need a chicken biscuit. CFA, CFA, CFA. Oh God. CFA, CFA, CFA. No Sunday. CFA, CFA. What? CFA, CFA, CFA. Oh God. CFA, CFA, CFA. No Sunday. CFA, CFA, CFA. My pleasure. CFA, CFA, CFA. What? CFA, CFA. Give me the number one. Still no.
Yo. Welcome to the Inside Wolves podcast. We are your beacon for enlightenment and entertainment. My name is Quinn, and these are my co-hosts, Juan and Jay. What up, fellas?
What's going on,
man? How y'all doing today?
How are y'all feeling on this beautiful Black Friday? Day after Thanksgiving.
Man. Good,
man. Good, man. Good. Y'all had good family Thanksgiving. Everything was good.
Yeah. And we switched it up this year and did a seafood boil.
Oh yeah,
big seafood boil.
That's the gems right there. You see, right. I was thinking of going pescatarian even possibly because I love seafood that much. Like I'm really like I love seafood, so I'm glad that it happened. But fellas, let's get philosophical with it. You feel me? I'm going to speak a little more on myself in the respect that if anybody who knows me, from YouTube to my parents to co-workers, anybody, I can't really do the small talk. It's not really my thing.
Right.
I really like much more meaningful conversation. And even if it's a pointless topic, I love delving deep into things because I love picking people's brains. I love seeing what makes people think this, what makes you feel that, and I love connecting dots. So I'd like to ask you gentlemen to entertain my madness for this episode. I would love to ask y'all a couple questions, get your thoughts, get some fans' thoughts, and express my own thoughts on them. So let's go ahead and dive right into this.
Ready.
Question number one. To you personally, what is happiness? You can go ahead and take that first, Javen.
What is happiness? I mean, that's a really good question too, because it's different for a lot of people, you know, and that's I think that's like where it really starts of being a question, is because it's so diverse for so many people. Like me personally, when it comes to happiness, like, and it's just funny because like recent in life, I kind of stumbled upon these things. Before I used to think happiness was really money, honestly, and it's crazy because that's how the world really shapes us to see a lot of things, especially nowadays when media is so heavy. But like recently, going through my own things in life and being able to work on myself, I really started to realize that honestly, I just care about like making sure that I mentally I feel good waking up every single day. Emotionally, I feel good with the people that surround me, that's surrounding me. Like money and things like that, those will come, you know? Like those are things that they will come, obviously with hard work and dedication. But at the end of the day, like for me personally, I just want to feel like, you know what? I do love my life. Like things are actually going pretty well right now. You know, whether that be it can get better, because everything can always get better. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all feel the same. But that's what it is for me. Like it's just at the end of the day, just really like emotionally, mentally feeling like stable and feeling good, you know?
How are you feeling, Juan? What you think? Happiness.
Yeah, you're a better man than me. I look at happiness completely different, bro. Like I look at it, I always look at happiness different, for real. Because like when I think about happiness in itself, right? I look at it as I've always looked at happiness as temporary. So I mean, for other people, happiness could be happiness could be long term. Like even like
I understand that.
Like the cliche saying of people saying like happiness, like money can't buy you happiness. Shit, it could buy me some happiness because I always look at happiness as temporary. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be happy for a day, you know, happy for a week, a month, but like happiness for like a lifetime and stuff like that. I never really heard of stuff like that. I've heard of like joy and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe y'all can tell me, or everybody else who's listening can tell me the difference. But like happiness, I always thought was temporary.
So let me ask you this. So like, let me ask you this, man. So like, in a relationship, do you believe that there's happiness within a lifetime in a relationship? Like, could that be like a lifetime worth of happiness? Like,
Um,
and it could be. It don't gotta be like
it,
girlfriend, nothing
I
like that. It could
wouldn't.
be.
It's hard. I mean, maybe for not all things. Maybe for certain things, it's like, it can like you could argue that or something like that. I don't personally know. Like I said, because I always looked at it as like temporary. But yeah, I feel like in a way you could find happiness in certain things, but at the same time, I still think happiness is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, like for me, joy. Like I always thought of it as a word that was like just more than just being happy. Like you like joy. I always thought that was like like a body thing. Like just
Yeah.
Yeah.
more than just for the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I probably say nah, man, because like I said, I always think of it as temporary.
Fair
So
enough.
I mean,
Hey.
you have happiness. Happiness to me was always moments, never
Mm-hmm.
like a long going or like long lasting type of thing.
I think that that's a very I think it's a very key thing that a lot of people definitely should think about as well. Personally, what I view as happiness is how you truthfully can feel about yourself when you're by yourself. When you have all the cars, when you have all the
Damn,
house,
that's
when you
deep.
got all
Yeah,
this, when you don't have it, how do you feel when you're by yourself, when you're not at work, when you're not, you know, providing for others or doing things out, or even when you're working towards something and you're on the grind and things come to a standstill for a minute and you got to just wallow in like, okay, I got to stop moving. Like when the pandemic
Right.
hit,
Right.
all right, I
hmm
got to stop moving. A lot of people got with themselves and took on some very destructive behaviors, myself included, honestly. It's very difficult at times when you're truthfully come to a stop and you got to face yourself in your entirety. So you
Mm,
got to be happy. And I think true happiness is being able to do that and be at peace with that,
man. And I got.
accepting it through the good, the bad, all that. Just truthfully sitting there with yourself and being like, hey, I am who I am and I love me.
I'm glad you brought up the pandemic too. I feel like really a tough time for a lot of people
yeah,
because like just like you said, like a lot of people probably got the chance to unknowingly and unwillingly like understand themselves a lot more than they probably wanted to, and uncover a lot of like things that maybe issues that they might have had within themselves at home, wherever, you know what I mean. And that's crazy because it's like even though like we're still, we're out of it a little bit to the point where we're more social and things like that, but it's like dang, it's like you're still kind of in that point where it's like, okay, now I can't forget about those things that I discovered. Like they're here now. So what do we do with that? And for a lot of people, that might break a lot of people's happiness. They
Yeah.
might have been felt
Mm-hmm.
like
yeah.
happy, quote unquote, before, and now they're like, nah, what is
Almost like
happiness?
taking that pill in the Matrix, you know?
Right,
It's
Yeah,
like what one
right,
hell, forget taking the pill. Once the option was introduced to you, you can't go back to thinking the same way.
right,
Now that
you
you
can't.
know that this is like, oh, this is the other side of this. And like you said, people got to face those things when they were by themselves. But the key thing for me was that they had to wallow in it. They couldn't just get up and go to the work the next day for 10 hours and forget about it for a little while. They couldn't just
hmm
go, go to the club and party it away on the weekend and then forget about it until the following night. They
right.
went to sleep and woke up in that same state and had to figure out how to get around those things.
That's crazy.
It is. It truthfully is. Next one. And this one is a little bit of a, I don't know, situational one. If every currency around the world, American dollar, Chinese dollar, everything, every currency around the world, value became zero, what do you think would happen to the world?
Chaos,
Chaos? Do you
complete
think it would just
chaos.
be like that forever, or do you think it would like eventually find its way to to a new normal?
Man, I don't know. I really because this is where I'm coming from. And like so if there's no value to the dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then So what are we doing with like with spending, like purchasing things? Is that even a thing anymore? Like, is niggas about to be out there raiding, looting? Like,
Right.
is that type of shit about to be happening? Like, is that gonna
Very possible.
yo? And I'm just thinking of this right now, just off the dome, thinking that this like, yo, is crime more acceptable, quote unquote, or what's the word? Logical? Is it more?
It's
Does it make
acceptable,
people,
really.
yeah, like does it make people want to do like crime more because now it's like there's no dollar, I have no money essentially,
Mm-hmm.
I'm broke, so now what do I
Hmm.
got to do, you know what I mean? Like, so I think chaos, but I mean I could see, nah, honestly I couldn't, honestly I think I just see chaos, honestly.
I
Not gonna lie
understand
to
that.
you.
What you
I
think,
think so
Warren?
too. I
Think
think
so
I
too.
think I think chaos too made me say that because like, and this ain't even like things based off of like movies or anything like that, because you got to think, you got all these people, for example, who are working, whether it's, like a regular 9 to 5, they're working for the city or anything like that. Everybody's still getting paid, so it's not like it's
Right.
really hard to find people who want to work just for work and not like they got to pay bills or provide for their family or just make money. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of people who are not working these jobs because of the money. It's not a lot of people like that. So you got all these people, even folks who went to college. You know what I'm saying? All these people. It don't matter who you is. You could be working on Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? You could be like a big time stock, marketer or whatever. Like, it don't matter, because you got to think, if that would have happened and the U.S. dollar went to zero today, or just all currencies, like you said, went to zero today, man, those same like stockbrokers and stuff like that, all these same like top 1%ers or whatever, millionaires, no matter what, like you go into, well, I feel like a lot of folks are going to more of a even primitive mindset, but not in a good way.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not in a
Nah.
good way. They would just be on some like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna just go take whatever I want.
Yeah.
And they not
Right.
even, it's the way it's gonna start. It's gonna have like, you know what I'm saying, your more wealthy people, like I said, they're gonna be like, well, I make this amount of much money. Why does somebody who, for example, works at like a dollar store or whatever, like they both could be trying to buy something, but it's like, well, you got your Dollar Tree shirt on, and I'm a, you know what I'm saying, a 6 figure or 7 figure earner or whatever, who they are. So they're gonna start looking at other people that's down beneath. Then you're gonna have the people who were already making less looking at them like, well, we're equal now, so there's no reason why you should, be seeing yourself so much above me. Like I said, it just goes to a real more negative, primitive mindset than it is now.
I understand that. I'm gonna propose a interesting situation here. Do I think this? Is this likely what would happen? Eh. But I like to dream. So here's what I think would probably end up happening. I think exactly what you said. We would go into a very, very primitive state of mind. People who are higher up on the totem pole, like you said, the power dynamic has now shifted. Everything's been
Hmm.
flipped on its head.
Right.
Because a lot of the people who tend to make a lot of that kind of money tend to be, or exceptional earners, really do tend to be separated from reality.
Yeah.
So when they get smacked with it like that, oh man, it's going to be hard. And I
Yeah. Like
do
they have
agree, it's
no
going to be
choice.
Yeah.
bad before it gets good, especially early, because what it's going to turn into is the old school survival of the fittest. Literally, the most gun-toting, biggest, baddest people would just have everything. They would just ride around and take everything, and you couldn't do anything about it because
Right.
it's just like, hey, this is how it is now. Now, that's not to say the other structures, like you said, with the jobs, the other structures will still be in place. Like there will still be people working and people doing police work, but the currency has to now change. So now some businesses, like you said, will definitely have to fall because you're not going to get any kind of payment from it anymore. I think a lot of entertainment would go belly up because, hey, I
Hmm.
mean, not all, but a lot of entertainment. Because if you have to now physically work for your currency more than just sitting behind a desk, now you're not so keen to throw it all away at the club to go
Yeah.
ahead and see a comedy show. Now you're not so keen to go fly out to X, Y, and Z and just gamp. Like
Right.
Vegas
Hmm.
would probably go belly up, but
Mm.
Vegas would turn into like a war zone.
Right.
But here's the thing about it, right? I'm thinking years down the road. What happens when there's only the fittest left? What does our society become once they start reproducing and go down that line? I think we could mess around and turn into some very elite human beings just from a structural like biology basis. Because now the biggest, the baddest, the smartest are the only ones there. They're the only ones thriving, getting anything. Everybody who's like you were talking about doesn't want to work is just lazy. Well, good luck. You're not going to have anything when you got to go mining for your currency now.
So look, and then like now, so what you saying that? So now we're going back and reverting back to how it used to be, like working, like literally actually working,
Yeah,
like
like
hands on is now the
Yeah.
axing,
norm.
like
That is
axe, pickaxe,
axe and
like
pick, right? Yo,
real
like
Yeah,
work,
you got
shovel,
like
great.
lumberjacks,
Yo,
fishermen,
like
like
right.
real
actual
workers. Yeah, people that'll
right.
make the community thrive. But I think that would bring back human interaction on another level. We would be way more connected to each other than we used to be. Well,
I
than we
could
are
definitely
now.
see that.
I can
I
see
could
that.
definitely see that too.
It would get
Um,
bad first, but it could get better after. After a long time, though.
see, and that's it's just like it's crazy because then the other side of that coin is like with the people and you know what I'm saying, not to like throw any shade or nothing like that, but with the way the like world is going, the generations that are coming up, it's like everything is a lot more with the media. Everything is a lot more like entertainment rather
Hmm.
than I actually got to know something really, like really actually study something, know something,
Right.
use experiences to actually kind of get through or at least get to some part of my life. Like now, it's definitely it's a lot easier. It really is a lot easier just because
A lot more
things are
options.
a lot more options. Things are handed down more.
Hmm.
So that's why, and it's important for for like the younger generation to really hone in on not only the opportunities but also the fact that there's opportunities, and then you can still be book smart. You could still be, you can still have your experience, your street knowledge. Like, just don't hone in on just one thing, because then when that one thing is taken away, i.e., a currency, then what you gonna do? Because all you know is,
Right.
oh, money pays for everything. Money can buy this, money can buy that. But now I gotta use my hands. Now I actually gotta think outside the box. Like, what's gonna happen? So it's important that we really like emphasize how good it is to have like knowledge, trade, like even
Being well
trades.
rounded. Being
Well, there
well
you go.
rounded.
That's
Yeah.
better put. Being well rounded.
You have to be. You gotta be. Good stuff. Good stuff. Next question. What role does honor play in society today? What you think, Jaden?
Mm, that's a tough one too, cause I mean, to take it even deeper, like there's people on this earth that have no respect for nobody at all. Like, the only person they respect is themselves. But
Mm-hmm.
then you literally have figures in society that have honor, like i.e. a president. If you want to take it smaller scale, a principal in a school. That's you have to
An
respect, like,
honorable position.
yeah, honorable position. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's like traditionally, yeah, I would say there's definitely like honor and a place for honor in society, because we have, like, literally society is built on positions of power and higher status. So,
Mhm.
and it's unfortunate because that's almost like the cycle that we in. We're trying to break that cycle of getting out of being in this and that class, so I can only look up to this class. Like, no, we should
Yeah.
all be equal. You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all think?
What you think, Go on.
Mm,
Matter of fact, hang on. I'm gonna let you mull that because I got something to
yeah.
say. There's some. I, I think honor, if applied correctly, if you actually do honestly have it and you do utilize it, it's truthfully admired from everybody, and as it should be, honor. But there are some of the most unhonorable people in some very honorable positions, in powerful positions. Very unhonorable people who have
Yeah,
past and current transgressions that are just make everybody that would hear about what they've done turn their head to the sideways, like, huh?
Yeah.
And he's in charge of what?
Yeah.
Right.
And he did
Yeah.
huh to who?
Right.
So, in all honesty, I think how the society's going today, it's sad to truthfully say, but I think honor is more of a hindrance than anything. You should have it if your moral code is instilled into you like that, and you really truthfully do want to be honorable. But I would be ignorant to look at all the successful people, at least monetarily, and pick out that all the people that are like that, or even majority, are honorable people. And those are the people who are living longer, living better lives than that most honorable of people at times. It's one of the most confusing things in the world about our society today, in my opinion, that I really don't get.
Yeah.
It really bothers me, the fact that some people are really bad, unhonorable people, and they're in the most powerful positions.
Baby mothers. They're supposed to get the highest honor too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that's supposed to get honor. Like you said, the principal thing.
Yeah.
That's just I mean, kids are gonna be rowdy as is, but like, man, some like you were just talking about, principal walk into the room, try to call them down to class, and it's just F you, nigga. What? Oh
Yo,
no.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Why you hear that walkie-talkie? Yeah, it's crazy because I know I ain't respect our principal growing up. Yeah,
I know.
Kids just tend to be testy and disrespectful just as is. Yeah, but like, again, that kind of stuff needs to be instilled in you, and a lot of people don't have.
It does. Yeah.
A lot of it needs to be instilled in you.
Just like what you were saying. Like, there's a lot of like unhonorable people in very honorable positions. You know what I'm saying? And I feel
dishonorable. That's completely my fault. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. I feel like in a way, if you think about it, the people who are, like you said, dishonorable, they make it a lot farther than the people who are honorable.
That's only because
they're doing it in a way, like they're doing it in a way just getting over people, not because people are gonna believe whatever they're saying, but they know in the back of their head, like, I'm just telling this person whatever I need to tell them to get to where I want to be. But there's a lot of people who gonna keep it a buck with you, honorable
and
lose out on a lot because they weren't like your sellouts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But however they choose, by not selling out or buying into just like how everybody else is doing, they're still being honorable. So with them doing that, they're exactly where they want to be, even though they should be, somewhere else in another higher up position. But it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with it, is that exactly. They should be somewhere else because those people in those positions could make very positive things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not willing to do the darker things, like you said, selling out even, that the dishonorable people are willing to do. So I said it seems like a handicap nowadays more than anything.
And honestly too, like, even like a message to all the kids out there or anybody coming up, because I'm seeing it too much from where I'm from in my community. These streets are not honorable. And I'm gonna say it again, these streets are not honorable. Get out of these streets. Stop looking up to these niggas that you feel is gonna protect you. Go find that somewhere else. And that's one of the bad things about just like I was saying, like breaking that cycle, that those classes that we're subject to, because you obviously you go into white communities and they have parks, they have things that niggas could go to do like after school programs and stuff like that, and we're starting to see that a little bit more. But you know how hard it is to get those type of things in inner cities. Like it's tough, or just in hoods in general, it's tough. You know what I mean? So like I'm really preaching like that right now, man. Like please, because we gotta be able to protect our community, protect each other. And this goes not just for black. It's not like a black and white thing. This goes for everybody. You know what I mean? Because I see it with all races. So please, that's my message. That's a Hefe's message to y'all. Okay?
All right. Next question here. Does everybody have a big, grandiose purpose in life? Is everybody supposed to have this big purpose of speaking out to millions and saving the children and from building all these infrastructures for everybody? Or do you
Nah.
think that there are some people that are just born and should carry on average life? And there's literally nothing wrong with that because it's an average life.
Yeah, I see. Well, go ahead, yo. Talk to him more. I know you got something to say, yo.
Man, no, bro. Like I said, like it's just a lot of
I
people
respect it.
who just don't have the not even just mindset, but like mental capacity to do like your day to day stuff. Like there's a lot of people like that. So those people, like, yeah, they still hard workers and stuff like that. But like, I mean, but me, I still look at everything different. So like, my answer might be different from you guys' answers, or even for people who are listening, my answer is probably different from y'all's. But with people like that, like those people who still affect the community, but in a smaller sense. So like, I mean, of course, people who work at your
Yeah.
grocery stores and stuff like that, yeah, you know, they're essential and stuff like that. But I still, like, in my head, I still look at them as like everyday fillers. Like even for what I do, like just working in a warehouse, like I'm an everyday filler, unless I'm one of those people who are like out, like really trying to, like, or not even trying to. I don't want to say trying to, but people who are in the positions to affect the community or world or anything else in a much bigger audience and stuff like that with a bigger platform. So like I said, I just look at them as like everyday fillers when it comes to like those, you know, your regular 9 to 5 and stuff like that.
That's crazy, yo. Because the people at my job would definitely tell me that I ain't got no purpose in life because I work at said job. I'm not gonna say what the job is, but said job. They
Hmm.
be like, man, you work here, yo. You ain't got no purpose in life. This is
Yeah,
what you do for a living. I'll be like,
that's your
all right.
path, bro.
Like, I'll be like, I feel like, yo,
Like,
like,
damn,
what am I supposed to say to that? Like,
Jesus.
I'm like,
Yeah,
well, okay, so how was your day going? Like, but I
yeah, like good
mean,
morning or something, bro.
I do think that everybody has a purpose in life, but some people's purposes may not be what you would define as a purpose. Like
Right.
some people might purpose in life really might be like, I don't know, just being somebody on the street, like,
Like real life
just
background character or something
right, yeah, like you.
like a filler. Like that's
Not
what I say.
everybody. If everybody was somebody, like, then who would, who would be the nobodies? Like, who would be the
Yeah.
people that will fight? Cause in this day and age, nobody likes to give people support. That's just what it is. Nobody likes it. No, everybody's a
No.
hater. Everybody's a hater at some point about something. Like, it's just it happens. So if everybody was famous, everybody was a somebody, like a position in a position that's really big. Like, who was gonna be the people that, oh man, I want to be that because what
Yeah.
you don't want to be like somebody else when you're already in a position that you feel like, oh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. I mean, everybody has a purpose, but everybody's purpose may not be as big as what you may think a purpose should be.
Yeah, fair enough. I wonder though. So I wonder because at what point, and y'all don't necessarily have to answer, but at what point in your life do you actually admit that to yourself?
That you have none, or
That no, not that you have no purpose, but that my purpose is a filler, a
I,
background guy. Well, like at what point do you recognize, hey, maybe I'm striving for glory in this specific field, but shit ain't working out. I get deeper and deeper in life. My family's
mm,
growing now. I got other things that are bigger responsibilities than this initial
right,
goal that I
right,
had.
right,
Now I gotta acknowledge and just settle into the fact that I am a 9 to 5 guy till I die. And
I
again, there's
think
nothing wrong with that. But if you're striving for more or aspire for more, at what point do you recognize maybe that's hey, or
right.
maybe you should never?
I
But
think
then
that
again, I
just
feel like
comes
you
down
can't be
to
happy.
I think that comes down to like just who you are as a person though, more so
Yeah.
than like just anything else because
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like I said, like for me working in a warehouse, like you got mixed ages working together. So you got a lot of people who are there already and they're in their 40s, like, or just however old. But these are people who shit, they probably had dreams. I know probably everybody had dreams rather than just working in a warehouse. Not everybody's dream is to go work for
Yeah.
anyone. Or at least that's not my dream to work for anybody in general. So, I just use this question as like an example because I'll tell people like, things I have going on or just something like that because like that's conversation for me. That's what interests me. You know what I'm saying? Business, money, stuff like that. So if I tell them things like that that I'm, you know, in the mix of working on or already working on, it's always the well why isn't and like I said, this is always I always find this with the older generation, like conversing with the older generation of stuff like this. Like it's always well why don't you just work a regular job like everybody else? But it's like I'm not everybody else. Like I don't see myself as everybody else. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I don't see myself in that position where I should work for somebody or be beneath somebody or anything like that. Like any type of chain of command, and I'm not at the top. Like I just feel like that's just not for me. I'm not trying to make myself seem like arrogant or anything like that, but I just feel like the way I look at it when it comes to stuff like that, like I just don't see myself working for
Nah,
anybody or taking orders.
I feel that. I really do feel that. Cause um, it's like my dad is like he is one of the hardest working people I ever like known in my life, and a lot of like my hard work, like my ethic, really comes from him. And Juan could probably touch on this a little bit too, because I know he's Jamaican too. Like his family's from Jamaica, so like my parents, they're both from Jamaica, so they're coming from a lifestyle, a country where literally working hard is kind of like your purpose. Like you work to build everything. You literally down there, like you work, you
Right.
build a house yourself. A lot of people build houses themselves instead of actually buying houses. And it's like everything that you do it with the intent of I'm working hard. Like that's just the life to be able to get that life instead of almost like not taking shortcuts, but trying it out a
Hmm.
different way, I should say.
Yeah.
So it's like for some people, I feel like depending on what your background is, and like, so for example, for me, I used to think like that too. Like, okay, like I gotta work hard, work hard, work hard. No fun until like the hard work I feel is completely
Right.
done, or like no praises. But and that's because of the background that my parents grew up with, and it kind of over time, like, I started realizing, like, you know what, like I just told y'all recently, like with like the happiness and everything, it's something that I just kind of feel like with the purpose. I'm starting to now feel like, you know what, I see what my purpose is. Like besides like the podcast and everything, it's literally just for me to just be happy. Like that's what I want my purpose to be. Like, and it may be different for everybody else. Everybody wants to
Hmm.
be, like millionaires, whatever, have a dream job. Like I think now I'm past that. I've had that dream passion, like with running track, um, with making music and everything. It's like now I just kind of like, now that I've like had those like experiences and tried those things, not really tried, but you know, tried to maintain those passions and things like that. It's like now I understand, like, okay, you know what? I feel kind of complete and I'm ready to kind of just accept what comes. And that's what I feel like my purpose is. Not it's just working hard every single day and then I'm gonna get to this. It's like now it's like, okay, I'm here, I'm living in this moment, I'm actually doing things that I like to do. I'm working hard at those, like to be able to continue to do those things. But now it's just like it doesn't feel like a job anymore.
Hmm.
Like now I feel like, okay, I'm in it. This is what the purpose is to be able to always feel and have that happiness 100% of the time. Y'all can hear the emotion in my voice, but that's just what it is. So yeah, that's a good question, man. Like I want to
That's
hear
a
what the
good
people
question.
think too. I want to hear what the people think about that.
Of course, of course. Last two things on that for me. One, it's it's funny but true. If everybody's rapping, how the hell are the stores going to get their supplies? If everybody's out here
Right.
acting, how
Yeah.
how who's going to be in these hospitals? Like who?
Yeah.
Like
That's
come on
true.
now. Like how
That's
how
definitely
are some of
true.
these things going to get done if everybody's a big time celebrity?
I'm about to say,
Yeah,
I know
that's right.
some of y'all nurses be rapping to the little yo, what's the joint that they be hooking people up
You
to,
talking
like
about
get the heartbeat?
the meter, the heartbeat monitor
Yeah.
thing? That's the little sensor
Yeah.
reading or whatever. Yeah,
I know when that joint be, they be like, oh, hold
straight
up, hold
freestyle.
up.
And the last thing I'll say, I kind of think I found a similar. I think I found the answer to my question I asked y'all earlier. When do you decide that maybe X is not meant for you, or that big purpose, that grandiose dream you've had is not necessarily your life? I think it's when you recognize that you're not actually doing the steps to achieve it and you don't want to. Because a lot of the time, seeing how something is made can kind of turn you off from it. Also, as well, becoming to that finished product, it's very difficult. I heard this analogy earlier today where it was a pizza that you just enjoyed. It looks good, it tastes great, the crust is not too hot, it's amazing. But what you don't know is that the chef had to go ahead and boil the temperature to a certain degree to get the dough to be like that. They didn't just get dough and boil water and slap it together real quick. This is a very particular process. They put the temperature of the oven to a certain degree, and sometimes they take it out and do things to it and let it rest for a little bit, then put it back in it. All kinds of things like that. You don't know that stuff happens. You're just happy to eat the pizza, and you're like, man, shit, what all I need is some dough, some sauce? Shit, let me go ahead and open up a pizza place. I'm going to go ahead and make me some dough. And then when you actually start trying to do that, now you're starting to see, it's not as easy or as pretty as I thought it was. And then you have to decide, are you going to be delusional and say I'm still going for it and claim to still be going for it, but not actually learning the steps and processes to do it? Or you just going to face reality and acknowledge, hey, now that I know what that actually is, I'm not so interested anymore. Let me try and redirect my purpose and path here, because what I thought would be my purpose maybe isn't. It takes a lot of people, a lot of different tries at a lot of things. And I think the moment you stop genuinely trying is when you become a background, because there are people around you who never stop trying.
That's true.
All the way to their deathbed, they don't stop trying.
Yeah.
To live whatever life it is they claim they want to live.
I can encourage everybody, keep trying. Everybody keep trying, keep going.
Don't never stop.
Never stop.
Future. Don't never stop. Bringing tears to my eyes. Let's do it. Well, fellas, I'd like to thank y'all for entertaining my madness and for this. And I'd definitely like to keep these topics big, big questions, big thinking topics. I think that that's the way that we can provide a lot of value for people. And I think that a lot of people would like to, chime in on these kinds of things.
Hell yeah.
Or at least ponder some things on their own, That's really what we're here for. Like I said, enlightenment and entertainment. So I want to thank all those who listened to this episode of the Inside Wolves podcast. Give us a follow on Twitter and IG, Inside Wolves. On Twitter, it's Inside Wolves 1. And we have a link tree that links you to all the rest of our stuff. Thank you all for listening. And we are out.